Everyone wrote Tom Brady and the Bucs off the page after a rough start to this season. But ever since then, ever since the divorce, Brady has led Tampa Bay back to relevancy, and I think it's only the beginning.
Brady looking, firing, going deep for the end zone. It's caught for the touchdown!
Back in 2021, the Bucs absolutely wiped the floor against KC at home as he won a Super Bowl in his very first year in Tampa Bay. After such a great start, going into the following season, the hype was real for what TB12 and an absolutely stacked Tampa Bay team could do. So with that in mind, their 13-4 season gave them a lot of fuel going into yet another playoff run. And so it wasn't much of a surprise that they took out Philly pretty easily.
Brady, Evans is in for the touchdown.
Jalen Hurts may have put up a heck of a fight, but considering how loaded a defense Tampa had, it wasn't enough to take out Tom, and so the Bucs were looking dangerous going up against LA at home. Nearing the end of the third quarter, Tampa was down 27-6, but Brady wasn't going to go down without a fight, and so over the next 15 minutes scored 3 touchdowns to tie it up at 27 until
Stafford, deep downfield, he's got Cup again!
The Cinderella comeback for once didn't go Tom's way, but although they didn't make the Super Bowl, the season was solid enough to make the Bucs seem like a legitimate contender going into 2022. Early on, it was looking like Tampa Bay was going to do their thing once again, as they started off really hot after smacking Dallas and making easy work of New Orleans as they advanced to 2-0. But following a close loss to Green Bay at home, it seems like the Bucs lost their mojo as they went on to lose 4 of their next 5 games. After a 2-0 start, falling to 3-5 had many thinking that Brady lost the magic to help him win so many Super Bowls, with some even going so far to say that he was washed.
Are you serious right now, bro?
Midway into his third season with Tampa Bay, it was looking like the Bucs were no longer the same team that won a Super Bowl less than 2 years ago. But over the next few weeks, Tom and the gang were able to change the narrative sooner than many could have guessed. If you got this far into the video, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and comment down below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. But anyways, back to the video. After losing back-to-back games to teams like Carolina and Pittsburgh, it seemed like the Bucs were pretty screwed. But that's when an important event changed the course of their season.
Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen saying they finalized their divorce after 13 years of marriage.
You could give me a solid 15 guesses, and not one of those would be that Brady's divorce was the spark that they needed to lead the Bucs back to relevancy. But it sure does seem like it did something.
Steps up. Oh, beautiful throw to Orton. Inside the red zone, Tom Brady's cooking.
Back-to-back wins against LA and Seattle got Tampa back to 500, and upon that threw them back under the spotlight as they went into Cleveland looking to prove that they were the real deal.
Back there, watching Tom Brady. On third down, there he goes to Cooper. Wide open!
Brady was back, but not that back, as the Browns were able to take him out in overtime. And it seems like they were able to turn the mojo back off, as the Bucs ended up losing 2 of their next 3, and were absolutely smoked by San Francisco.
Pressure comes, throws high, it's intercepted. Deshaun Gibson has got it for San Francisco.
After climbing back to 500, Brady and the Bucs went back down the totem pole as they fell to 6-8, which by itself should have made the playoffs seem like a far-off hope. But keep in mind that they're in the NFC South.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Since Tampa Bay isn't easily the worst division in football, the playoffs were still possible at 6-8, but they still had to win some more games. So just like pretty much every other year, Brady did what Brady does, and yeah.
Fournette blocked it. Brady sideline shot and caught by Evans. Operation perfect. And the Buccaneers.
If anyone but Tom came back like he did against Arizona, it would be a shock. But since it was good old TB12, it seemed pretty normal, and it had the Bucs at 7-8 going into a big game against Carolina the following week. Since they got smacked by them earlier in the year, there was a lot riding on whether or not they could get back to 500, or if they would get taken out by the Panthers once again. But let's just say Brady was not looking to lose to Sam Darnold, as it seems like he flipped a switch.
Loading up, going deep. Evans is open. He's got it in for the touchdown.
TB has had a lot of great games, but his performance against Carolina was something different, as his over 430 yards and 3 touchdowns passing, along with 1 on the ground, helped lead the Bucs to a 30-24 win, as they were able to clinch the NFC South once again. Clinching a division at 8-8 is pretty crazy, but it was exactly the break that Brady needed in order to have a chance at what seems like his 100th Super Bowl. Although the Bucs haven't been nearly as consistent as in previous years, when you put Brady in the playoffs, it seems like anything is possible. So a deep run is not out of the cards, especially in an NFC that is about as unpredictable as it gets.
Rodgers backs up to buy time to the end zone. Touchdown! Robert Tonyan.
As of right now, if the playoffs started today, the Bucs would go up against a Dallas Cowboys team that they demolished in Week 1. And although quite a bit has changed since then, matchups are super important, and over the past few years, Brady has done well against those fellows. But keep in mind, that's just one scenario, because if Dallas wins and Philly loses, then a rematch against the Jalen Hurts Eagles, or maybe the up and down Vikings, is not out of the picture. So even though there's only one game left in the season, there's still a ton up in the air. But thankfully for Brady and the Bucs, they are chilling at the top of a division that has fallen quicker than a really heavy bowling ball. The combination of being in the worst division in football, along with Brady getting back to business these last few weeks, has put the Bucs in quite a unique spot going into the postseason. If you ask most people midway through the year if Tampa Bay had a legitimate chance at the playoffs, they would probably say that Brady is washed or that they were just screwed. But it turns out that they are right where they were last year. Brady may be 45, and the Bucs may have had their worst regular season since he's been there. But Tom's coming off his best performance of the year, and that's a pretty scary thought for any team that doesn't have much experience in big games. Interestingly enough, he has had an NFL record 5 straight 30 completion games and has the second most passing yards in the league. So even though that ability to spread the ball around may have come out of necessity a good bit of the time, it's gotten Tampa Bay here, which must mean that he's at least doing something right.
Out of the gun, Brady looking. Evans brought it in.
We'll see how the playoff picture pans out, but as long as Brady's healthy and he's got studs like Evans and Godwin to throw to, you know that the Bucs will likely put up a good deal of points. So as long as their defense does okay, then I think they'll be fine. Injuries and lackluster play have made a deep run possible in an NFC as unpredictable as it has been this season. Because if the 3-seed Vikings can get demolished by Green Bay, it seems like anything really is possible. The last 2 teams that the Bucs lost to were Cincy and San Francisco, 2 not just playoff teams, but some of the very best in the league. So if Brady can flip his playoff switch like he seems to do every year, I think that they should be able to beat some mid-level playoff team. But anyways, as I've talked about before, experience is very important going into the postseason. So even though Tampa Bay hasn't won 13 games like last year, they don't have to in order to make their way through the playoffs. I know I might be rambling a lot, and I'm sure this is super boring to listen to. So hey, let's play a little game. Which NFC playoff team has as many Super Bowls as Brady? Drumroll please. No one. At the end of the day, records only tell one part of the story, so I'll trust that the guy who's won 7 Super Bowls has a pretty good shot at winning another one, even if it may be on an 8-8 team, and even if the Bucs may seem to be washed as compared to previous years. But hey, that's just what I think. So now I think it's time to flip the script and ask, do you think Tom Brady is back to business and going to lead Tampa back to the big game yet again? Or is he just getting some lucky wins and is going to get smacked in the playoffs? Comment down below your thoughts. Tom Brady has been around for a while, and trust me, he's been in much crazier situations than on an 8-8 playoff team. And you know what? I think it might be exactly what he needs to do his thing once again.
To Brady, fakes to Fournette, he throws, it's caught, it's in for the touchdown! Incredible!
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, turn on post notifications, and subscribe for more stuff like this. But anyways, see you all soon, and peace out.
He's mad. He thinks Derek Brown pushes him late. You see Brady, he's fired up.
Are you serious right now, bro?